Let's all get some lobby snacks.
Hi everyone, my name is Jake and welcome to the first ever episode of Lobby Snacks. Lobby Snacks is a new show that I created where I get to sit down and talk about a newly released movie or a film that I really like. Anything really where we can kind of sit down and pretend like we're in a movie theater lobby, just exiting the theater, riveted about the film we just saw. And to help with that illusion, I made my office into a movie theater lobby, concession stand and all, with some of my favorite movies up here as the posters. So I thought this would be a really unique thing that we can do and get that vibe right. So please grab a snack and let's all go to the lobby, everyone. And for the first episode of Lobby Snacks, we're talking about the 2025 masterpiece, in my opinion, Ryan Cooglar's Sinners. But before I get too far into it, I gotta talk about today's sponsor. Me. It's me. I am just really getting going on this channel again, and my next goal is 500 subscribers, and once I reach 500 subscribers and a lot of watch hours, I get to start making a little bit of side money on this channel. So the goal is 500 subscribers, so I would love if you subscribe to this channel and also gave it a thumbs up. I know that's cliche, but that helps the algorithm get this video out, and we can have more people join us in our lobby conversation. Sinners is such a fascinating movie for me because I had no idea what it was 4 weeks ago, and when it released in theaters 3 weeks ago, the word of mouth was so incredible on it, and that is such a unique thing to happen for an original film. Now, I'm familiar with Ryan Cooglar's filmography, but Sinners is different. Sinners is the first movie where it is not based upon someone's life. It is not part of the MCU machine, and it is not a franchise film. Now, all these films that Ryan Cooglar has directed and wrote are brilliant films, but you can really tell that Sinners is his passion project. Because we're sitting in the lobby right here, I thought first I would talk a little bit about my theater experience. So yes, I have seen this movie literally just this past weekend. On the third weekend it is out. I know, I am behind. I got really busy and I was trying to see this movie because when somebody says you need to go to the theaters and see this movie, I put that in my brain. I just couldn't find a time. And, I thought, okay, well, I'll wait till weekend 3. I'm not doing anything that weekend. And Thunderbolts is releasing in theaters, the new Marvel movie. And maybe the theater will be a bit less packed. And I'll just put on the screen. This is a screenshot of what my theater looked like an hour before the show time. So I booked tickets for me and my friend, Aaron. You'll recognize Aaron from this channel. So we ended up sitting in row D, and we chose these 2 seats right about here. The thing about those seats was everyone was behind us. We were surprised how many people were going to be behind us in a week 3 release with Thunderbolts in the next theater over. What was crazy is when we got to the theater, a bunch of Swedish exchange students, I don't know, they sounded Swedish, came and sat beside us, so they bought after us. Then about a family of 10 sat in the row in front of us. They all had their feet up. Bad theater etiquette. And then right before the movie started, the entire D row filled out on the other side with a bunch of people trying to get in right before the movie started. And the thing was, I was not excited for this at all. Everyone was really chatty. It was not looking like it was going to be a good theater experience. But for one thing, I was impressed on week 3 how this theater was nearly sold out. It was absolutely mind-boggling to me. And to tell you how good this movie is, well, you know how I was worried about all those chitty chatters that was around us? Everyone shut the fuck up when the movie started and stayed shut the fuck up through the entire movie. Yes, everyone in that movie theater was absolutely glued to the screen. And that is just a testament of how well crafted Ryan Cooglar has made this movie. Most of you watching this probably already watched the movie and want my opinion on it. The thing about this movie is it feels like a movie.
My favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theater film movie that you kind of the reason why you go to watch something on the big screen. I think
there's been so many movies I've been to lately, and I love the MCU and franchise movies, but they feel painfully like they were made in a green screen. And this movie took me back to 2007 and seeing a period piece movie on the big screen. It was really quite fantastic. And before the vampire stuff doesn't even happen till about an hour and a half into the movie. Although I absolutely love the direction it took and the theming of the film all the way through, I could have watched 3 more hours of what the first hour presented to you. It is a slow burn, but it is slow in the best sense. I was drawn into the story. I was drawn into the music and the characters. Cooglar really builds up all these different characters, and you grow to love them instantly. Every performance here is fantastic, especially Miles Canton, whose first ever role is in this movie as Sammy. Michael B. Jordan, you forget that they're even one actor playing these two totally different twins. Haley Steinfeld is absolutely incredible. And one of my favorite performances in this movie actually was Wunmi Mosaku. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. She plays Annie, kind of estranged wife. This isn't just your typical vampire flick, though. Ryan Cooglar, when I talked about before how this was uniquely his vision, it is truly Ryan Cooglar's baby. And it's really hard to critique this movie because everything he does is with absolute intention, and you can't really critique it because everything feels like it's part of his story that he wants to tell. You know, it isn't a blank check movie. This is his labor of love put right into the movie. And even in scenes where he tries something totally new that hasn't been really seen in movies before, which I will get into in the spoiler part of this review, you could just tell that you are watching something that he is so proud of, and it is just brilliant to see on the big screen. Absolutely. I think really the trailers did this movie a disjustice. It seems like your typical vampire flick. It actually spoils a lot of it, which I'm glad I forgot the trailer kind of going into it, because it spoils a lot of the surprises near the end of the movie. But the trailer didn't really impress me watching it. It just seemed like another Salem's Lot, which I'm a fan of, but it just seemed like another interpretation of that vampire story. But what Cooglar adds into this, and I think this is now about the time I'm going to get into spoilers, this movie is about Black culture. This movie is about Black music. This movie's themes brilliantly wove Black culture together with music. The big scene that I was talking about before is when Miles's character, Sammy, is playing for the first time. Everyone is dancing, and suddenly you see different generations of Black music, all the way from the beginning of humankind to modern day interpretations, dancing all around, using their instruments, and that's the power of his music. He's transcending generations in this film. And initially, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, you know, this is a very artistic choice going here, and it kind of feels separate from the movie. The movie itself, it hasn't got really to the vampires yet, and it is very grounded. And then you get an electric guitar, and you get this almost dreamlike sequence that seems very out of place. But the more I sat on it and the more I've thought about it, I think it's absolutely brilliant. You know, it's not really my place to comment it as a white boy, but to sit and think about what this scene means to Black people and what this scene means to the culture and what it represents with music through generations upon generations. Ryan Cooglar absolutely did a fantastic job portraying that. And it also shows movies as an art form doesn't have to be this grounded linear path. He has a very unique vision in his mind, and he was able to portray that is very moving. And the more I think about it, the more it is the most life-changing scene in the movie. And of course, it goes right to the white Irish vampire doing his Irish jig and recruiting a whole bunch of people. And you had the entire brilliant cast of Black characters all doing this Irish jig influenced by the main bad white vampire. And to me, it really represented so many themes and stories of white people infecting Black culture and the damage that it does throughout the years. And it made me think about all these artists throughout rock and roll history that has taken so much from Black music without the credit, with still being tasteful and still being an absolute riot in the theater. We were all tapping our toes to it. but the theming did not go past my head within that scene. Of course, all the vampire stuff was so brilliantly done. I really admire how this movie focuses on the vampire rule of they have to be invited in. You always get the vampire movies talking about garlic. They can't see each other in the mirror. But it's really not focused on the fact that they have to be let in. It's kind of a silly thing when you think about it. But it is so well done in this movie, and it gives some of the best comedic and chilling aspects where you know that someone's been turned because they are not entering the building and are asking to be let in. It almost puts a fear into the crowd and the audience. There was a lot in those vampire scenes that had people gasping and made it the best theater experience possible. In particular, when the bartender character, Grace, thinks about the vampires going after her daughter, and it overwhelms her, and everyone's trying to stop her, and she just screams, "Come on in!" The collective gasp through the whole theater, I'm just in love with this movie. I keep thinking about scenes and like, oh, I love that one. I love that one. I love the Native Americans looking for the vampire and warning the couple before they're taken about this dangerous man. And that goes with spirituality. And also Annie's character was very spiritual, and it wasn't done in a sense where it was like, ooh, magic is real and the paranormal. It was done with such taste and respect to Native American and Black culture. It was a learning experience for me while also enjoying one of the best films of the year. The movie ends, and we see Sammy's character all growing up. He chose music. He chose to dance with the devil. He did the Bob Dylan thing. He went electric with it, and we know it's him because of the scar on his face. It's 60 years later. It's quite a powerful ending in itself. Credits hit. Everyone's like, that was pretty awesome. And me and Aaron sit there. Me and him always have this tradition where we just kind of sit through the credits, whether it's a post-credit scene or not, because we just love processing everything we just saw. A lot of people in the theater, as I said, get up, they start going down the stairs, and that mid-credit scenes hit. And I have never seen so many people, again, stop in their place and shut up and watched this brilliant ending, which I think is my favorite scene in the entire movie, where you see Stack and Mary, who you didn't know survived the vampire carnage, and they talk to Sammy. They offer to turn him so his music can live on. They've collected all his records. He declines that, thinking he's lived enough, and they just have this really beautiful conversation about, everything before the massacre was the best day of their life. And it nearly brought a tear to my eye seeing Stack talk about Smoke and how that was the last day he's ever seen his brother, and the last day he felt free, which, being in the sun for the final time. They were also in really cool 90s drip. It just hit me so emotionally. It's just such a masterpiece. It's a magnum opus. That's what I said to Aaron. That movie there is a magnum opus. I can't wait to rewatch it. The one thing is I have really bad ears, and the southern accent some points went over my head. I got the general gist of what was going on in the scene, but I can't wait to watch this with subtitles. This movie, as I said, third week, and it is still number 2. It's behind Thunderbolts, but an MCU release did not stop this movie. Movies are back, baby. Well, I say that, and Trump's going to put 100% tariff on movies, so maybe not for long. But for now, movies are back, and I am so excited about it. I really hope this gets some award buzz. It came out so early, April. The Oscars aren't until March. A lot of these movies, especially horror, gets left behind, or for the technical categories. But I really think that Miles Canton, Michael B. Jordan deserve a nomination for this movie. I think it deserves a lot of technical categories. I didn't even really talk much about the music, which is absolutely incredible in this movie. This movie is a movie for sure. If you have a chance to see it in theaters, I don't think it's going anywhere soon. Please go and see it with a crowd. It is absolutely mind-melding during the movie. If you'd like to follow me on Letterboxd, my username is RingoJake41. And on Letterboxd, I gave Sinners a perfect 5 out of 5 star rating. Out of 10, of course, that translates to 10 out of 10. It is the movie of the year. But what's exciting is this year has only just begun. Thank you so much for sitting and talking with me in the lobby. Did you finish your snack? I sure hope you did. It was so great talking about this movie with you. And please let me know your thoughts and interpretations of the movie in the comments. I would like to hear from all of you. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me in the long run. And of course, subscribe for more Lobby Snacks. I am literally going to see Thunderbolts tomorrow, so you're going to get more Lobby Snacks soon. Thank you so much, everyone, and let's all leave the lobby.
We all ate some lobby snacks.